Hey y'all, welcome back to Sacred Soulmates. You may find it as Sacred Soulmates Tarot or Sacred Soulmates 11, Sacred Soulmates 1111, depending on where you're finding it at. All of it leads right back here to your goddess euphoria. You can call me Nikki. The energy that you feel when in the presence of an earth goddess. What's in the name but truth? I want to do a video, just a quick primer, a prerequisite, if you will, as we get into our readings about the difference between a soulmate and a twin flame. I have other tarot channels here, and on one of my channels, you can check it out. It's called 828 Prophecies. I talk about how a lot of the twin flame readers on YouTube are keeping people trapped in like a false matrix, what I call the death cycle over there, because instead of doing the best for yourself, instead of becoming the best light version of yourself, instead of doing the shadow work, going through the dark night and becoming a holy spirit, meaning you are balanced and whole in both your light and your darkness, people continue to get into codependent situations, what they call the runner chaser dynamic, which is a bunch of bull, if we can be honest. Your soul, when you are a fully self-actualized, sure and certain energetic signature, basically how I open up the videos and I talk about my name and I tell you who I am, and like that. When you know who you are, you've seen celebrities, Meg the Stallion calls herself Tina Snow, Pimp C, Sweet James Jones, Andre Benjamin, 3K. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people know who they are, you get into these different facets of yourself, but you are still a whole spirit. If you haven't taken the time to become a whole person and you're still in that codependent energy, then yeah, you will get tangled into a twin flame dynamic where you keep chasing after another person. Or when they finally start to show you interest, then you get in that petty mood where now you want to be the runner and you want to make them chase you. But then that dynamic, it keeps flipping, because eventually you're going to stop wanting to run. They're going to stop wanting to chase, and it's going to switch up. The person who was doing the running is going to feel like, nope, now it's my time to run. So now you got to chase me. And it's just a never ending cycle. You're stuck on that hamster wheel. Versus a soulmate, when you are fully self-actualized, your soul is awakened. There are a lot of people who are just spirits. It's nothing to being a spirit. A spirit just means that you are breathing. You're a living, breathing thing. Just like the breath of space, the expansion and contractions, the expansion contractions of our lungs. We're inspired. We're breathing. Okay? That's nothing. Everybody can do that. A newborn baby can do that. A old person who's on the deathbed, they still barely, but they still breathing. You get what I'm saying? When you are a self-actualized soul, all of your chakras, first off, are in alignment. There's that whole Kundalini awakening process that you go through. When you balance your chakras, they burst open. It may be a trippy experience as you're going through it, but once you get your balance in that new energy, you have an awakened solar plexus. Your solar plexus actually connects with the sun. Now you are in control of your 360. Your sphere of influence, your electromagnetic energy creates the experiences that you have outside of yourself, as above, so below, as within, so without, and all that jazz. That's where that comes from. After you have a fully balanced and healed, all of your chakras, really, but once that solar plexus chakra is broken open and you begin to follow your own intuition, that's it. They talk about, a savior in the Bible who paid it all for us, but intuition within yourself, you've already paid it all. You already have it all within me. Whitney Houston said, it's all in me. So once you're an awakened soul, then you come into contact, or you remember your soulmate. Because sometimes while we're unawakened, we could have already met our soulmate. But until we tap into that intuition and that solar plexus is revived, we won't have remembrance of who your soulmate is. And your soulmate actually came here with you. As you are connected to that sun, and that sun is this, giant ball of energy out in space. It didn't just, wake up one day and there was a sun. It came from somewhere. And, all of these materials that move in a gravitational pull to create these spheres that we call celestial bodies, aka planets or stars. They came from somewhere. Once you are connected to the sun, your soulmate remembrance comes to you. And whoever is connected to it first, once one is connected to it, it activates the other. That's a sleeper cell. When you hear terms like a sleeper cell, it's one that is awakened, or one who leads the charge, but it's one that's bringing up the rear who gonna shut everything down. And that's the soulmate connection. Once you are awakened and you remember who it is, and you'll have dreams, you'll get all types of 3D affirmations and confirmations. Situations may just seem to happen randomly where you end up in the presence of this person. Whatever the case may be, you will have all of the confirmation you need to know, oh my God, that is my soulmate. And you'll be so sure about it. That'll be your sure person. When you hear someone say your person, that's really what it is. Your person, that's your soulmate. Now, soul indicates light. Soul, like sun, your soul, it's light. And we are humans, we are light beings. What happens is, until you have that remembrance of your soul mate, you have a bunch of like broken down refractions of that person who you keep coming into contact with. And the real purpose of them coming into contact with you is because on a spiritual level, they're trying to awaken you and get you to remember. But if you are just in a place where you haven't done the shadow work and you still kind of have like a victimhood mentality and you still have codependent tendencies, you'll just focus on them right in front of you, the flesh and the blood. You know, we don't wrestle with flesh and blood. It's spirits and principalities. You know what I'm saying? So your soulmate, their light is broken down like refractions. It's a fraction of your soulmate. A twin flame is just a refraction, meaning a redone, repackaged fraction of your soulmate. Once you get to that enlightening and you find your soulmate, you'll be able to look back on all the things or all the relationships that didn't work, and you'll have a sense of gratitude because you'll be able to see, oh my God, like this person represented this maybe lower natured aspect of my soulmate. Because if your soulmate is not awakened and you're not awakened, then you're both just out here dealing with twin flames who are repackaged fractions of your soulmate. So, you know, your masculine may be dealing with women who have daddy issues or who are only about money or who trap them with babies and stuff like that. A feminine may be dealing with men who have violent tendencies, men who don't know how to get off their ass, get off the couch and get a job. You know what I'm saying? Men who want to play video games all day instead of lead the household. You'll deal with different repackaged fractions of your soulmate if your soulmate has not yet awakened. And if you have not yet awakened, then you'll both see each other cast out into different people that are collectively called twin flames. Just like white light going through a prism and it breaks off into 7 different colors that we call a rainbow. You have your red, which is like sacral chakra, root chakra. You have your orange, sacral chakra. You have your yellow, solar plexus. You see what I'm saying? You have your green, your heart chakra. You have your blue, your throat chakra, indigo, violet, your crown, third eye, so on and so forth. You will have twin flames. You'll usually have a hard push and pull with one of those things. Let's say this person is a root chakra refraction of your soulmate. They may have an issue with like if y'all staying together, they always be like threatening to put you out, or y'all have situations where people, you know, the neighborhood is watching y'all put each other's shit out on the lawn. And you know what I'm saying, like your landlord got to come by and give you noise ordinance warnings and stuff. Y'all gonna be put out for the noise. It's like it's no peace in your living situation if that is a root that is a root chakra refraction of your soulmate. If it's a sacral, you know what I'm saying, that's somebody who would put a baby on you, or STDs may be a problem in that relationship, or somebody who just can't keep it in their pants, or you got a woman who's for the streets. That's a sacral chakra twin flame, a repackaged fraction of your soulmate. But there's always that person. And how I tell people that you'll really know who your soulmate is because once you have that remembrance of them, everything just makes sense. And you're instantly, it's such a pure love for that person. There's no trauma with you and that person. So if you've had trauma with a person and they did this to you and did that to you and had a baby on you and trapped you with this and mistreated you like that and slapped you around and da 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 and slept with your cousin and talked shit about you to the whole country, that's not your soulmate. There is no trauma with the soulmate. Pure light. Pure light. Pure light and love. That's the only love and light that I encourage. In the spiritual community, we have a lot of people who do, in an avoidant way, in an escapist way, the love and light thing. The only true love and light is with a soulmate, because you both are light bodies, like in a spiritual way, like from galactic type energy, ancient type energy. Your lights. Just like we look out in the sky, we see the stars, we see the sun, we see the moon, light. So that's the only love and light, is a soulmate connection, a soulmate bond. And there is no trauma. When you think back on this person, this will not be somebody who did you wrong. This will be the most tender, gentle, sweet connection that you've ever had with another. That's the soulmate. The person you can look back on and you think, dang, they never gave me their ass to kiss. Out of all the people in the world who've done me wrong, this person never did me wrong. And sometimes they are right up under your nose. We've all seen it, like the movie Brown Sugar with Sid and him. When did you first fall in love with hip hop? It'd be that person right under your nose the whole time. But they've always been in your corner. They always supported you. They always stood for you. They always let you know that they were there for you. It's just circumstances. With soulmate connections, like I say, we don't wrestle with flesh and blood. It's principalities and evil rulers in high places and shit like that. It'll be other things that come in between y'all. Your soulmate may have had a stint, in prison that took him away from you. Your soulmate, if like I'm hearing off to college, just you in a way, it's something like that. A man's soulmate may have just wanted to better herself and go off and get a degree and something like that. And in the time that she was going off to college, maybe he started dealing with twin flames, just wanting to give her that freedom and that space to flourish and fly. That's such a unselfish and purely loving sentiment for someone. But while she's off in college, he may start dealing with somebody who is like a twin flame type female, a karmic female, if you will. So it's never the person. There is no trauma. When you really think back and you have that remembrance of who your soulmate is, there is no trauma attached. It'll be so sweet. A lot of times when people have that remembrance of who their soulmate truly is, you've never even had sex. I'm talking about, it's that type of innocence. It's like a childlike innocence. It's like we still holding hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, it's the high school. Like that type of, you know what I'm saying? You hold my books and, walk me to class type thing. Or this guy is like the star athlete and you the cheerleader, Taylor Swift type shit. It's that type of like sweet, gentle, ain't no savagery, ain't no trauma, ain't none of that, gory. It ain't nothing explicit. It's none of that. It's so sweet. It's love. It's love and it's light and it's peace and it's balance and it's all of those things. Once you do the dark work, once you do the shadow work within yourself and you activate all of your chakras and you are fully realized in your energetic signature, only then when that solar plexus chakra is broken open and when all of your chakras are balanced, or at least in the process of balancing, because you don't have to be perfect. Neither one of you have to be perfect. You can still have, the issues with life and, outside. Third party. We always hear that term, third party. And that's the thing. It'll always be a third party interference. But it's never going to be like them doing something with a third party, which implies their consent. They're not consenting to hurting you with a third party. There's some third party, the enemy, trying to come in between a loving bond that is here to make an impact on the world. Whether it be the law, whether it be finances. Because sometimes, a man may not feel comfortable coming in if he don't have his shit together. And that's a respectful thing. I'd rather that than someone come and mooch off of me, or even worse, be stealing from me. Then that's one of those twin flame things. Like, a lot of twin flame people have folks that be stealing from them. That's crazy to me. That is absolutely insane to me, but it is what it is. So that's the difference between soulmates and twin flames. Your soul mate, that's your light mate, that's your counterpart. That is the balance on a light plane. It's a holy union, meaning a whole union. You both have done the work in the shadows, so you don't need to keep dealing with these twin flame refractions, because you already know, all right, I get it. I had certain issues with stability that caused me to be in this relationship with this man who's holding the keys to the house over my head. Well, I might let you come stay with me, or you know what I'm saying, like that kind of stuff. Or you ain't gotta be here, you can get out. Especially when men go to live with women, every time you get in an argument, it's like a threat. You ain't gotta live here, you can get out, you can get your shit. Like, that's all twin flame stuff. When you go through the darkness and you deal with your own BS and you get yourself together, and like I said, you don't have to be perfect, but you just have to be self-aware. That's when you tap into that solar plexus, which is that intuition, that inner light, that inner wisdom, and everything outside of you becomes in alignment with who you are within. Everything outside of you begins to get balanced with who you are within, including attracting your soulmate. Remembering your soulmate first and foremost, because most people have already met them. If you find yourself in these relationships that keep crashing out and not working, 9 times out of 10, you already have found your soulmate. It was just at the time you guys weren't awakened, or third-party circumstances got in the way and pushed you guys apart, and you began to deal with these twin flame refractions who, in the 3D end up being horrible people. But in the spirit is really just trying to remind you, if you see something in that person, or you find yourself comparing that person to another, like so-and-so would have never did that to me. Maybe so-and-so is your soulmate, and you don't need to be dealing with this twin flame back and forth BS, So yeah, hopefully you all got a proper understanding of what that is, a soulmate versus a twin flame, who is just a broken down version of your soulmate's light. If you gather all the twin flame, or the connections, or the relationships that didn't work over the course of your life, if you gather them all up, line them all up, you'll be able to see how they are like dark reflections of all the things that your soulmate would not do to you, or had never, the ways that your soulmate had never traumatized you, or ways that your soulmate had showed up to you. You'll see like an evil twin of that in a twin flame. The twin flame is not, they're not your twin. They're a twin, they're an evil twin of your soulmate. That's really the main takeaway. A twin flame is an evil twin of your soulmate, a broken down, repackaged fraction of who your soulmate truly is, standing in their light. And there's it's a clean, it's a white light on them. Not saying nothing about black lights, you know what I'm saying? But it's a whole, sweet, gentle, loving light on your soulmate. They don't have none of these instances where they did nothing crazy to you. It's like y'all can talk for hours, sit up and talk for hours, and it don't have to be nothing sexual. That type of connection, that's a soulmate. A twin flame is not your twin. They're your soulmate's evil twin. All right, if y'all have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I will try to address them as we go forward doing our readings and stuff. I also have readings available. The 1 and 2 question will be email only. The 30 to 60 minute session, you can decide if you want it live. I'm social. I don't mind getting on the phone, or, hopping on a Zoom or something and doing it. Or you can have it where you just, write down everything you want me to address, and then I do a full reading on that, and you get it back in a recording fashion. Completely up to you. All right, see y'all on the next one.